Bam, we're live. Yeah, we're live. We've been live. Ever since Daddy Dave made me go live, we've been live. I don't know how long it's been. It's Caleb eating some beaver. Caleb Beaver eating. Brian Friend. I'm coming to you from the Three Plain Brothers compound. Training facility where the fittest, smartest, coolest dad in the world lives. I thought I was going to say kids. I am your host, the most humble, wealthiest, most influential person in the CrossFit ecosystem, along with my trusted second brain, Caleb, and he needs no introduction, the most knowledgeable man in the CrossFit ecosystem, CrossFit Games ecosystem, knows more, shares more, has more insights, emotionally stable, coming to you from a shithole city named Chicago.
I live a little north of the shithole.
It's to balance out his greatness. Brian Friend. What's up, dude? I'm pretty excited about this show, actually. Not because it's the age group, but it's just been a while.
Chicago does have a nice skyline.
It does. When it's burning.
From a distance.
Yeah, from very afar. Sevanista's ex-fit Jamie qualified for the Masters semi. Is that true, Jamie Latimer?
No one's qualified yet.
Yeah, take that, cock. Take that. Oh, what do you mean by that? Let's just start right there. What do you mean no one's qualified yet? Leaderboard's not finalized?
Correct. Yeah. So we will talk about the leaderboard. We'll talk about a lot of cool things I think that happened this past weekend. But obviously, it's a massive job to review and score and approve scores for, besides the team division, I think 16 or 18 other divisions this weekend. So they probably need a week or two.
How cool is it that CrossFit has a division for old people? How long has it had that? Let me rephrase that. They're not old. You're just not as good as the best people because of what being humans, what happens to us. There's a sweet spot where we're the best at physical shit. That's better, right?
Yeah, you're basically asking what year did the Masters divisions start?
Yeah.
They started before the teenage divisions. Let's see if they have them on here. I thought it was 2012. There's a woman named Lynn Knappman that I want to talk about tonight. Her games profile shows games appearances from 2012 all the way through 2022 with no interruptions. She's
2012, is that what you said?
Yeah. She's never finished worse than 6th at the CrossFit Games. She will miss the CrossFit Games this year for the first time in the history of her career because she couldn't do a strict handstand push-up.
Lynn Knappman, she doesn't have an Instagram account, and wait, don't tell me. I'm going to show off to you now. She is trained by. Give me the first letter of his name. It's a famous guy. See. Second letter.
H.
Chase Ingram.
A.
Chase.
D.
Chad Schroeder.
From Australia.
Oh, Chad McKay. Damn. I knew it was someone famous. I just saw it popped up in my search.
Chad is listed as her judge for all of the workouts this year. I think that's right.
Okay, thank you. That was really cool of you to help me out like that, so I look like I still knew something. Chad McKay.
You only needed 4 letters. It's awesome.
Not bad. And not to mention spelling of the complete first name. For those of you who don't know, who weren't around, Chad McKay was a serious contender for winning the games. There was a year where he was absolutely destroying the first couple workouts, and then he was injured. And it was like he was definitely going to the podium, I'd say. It was going to be hard.
I think there might have been Masters in 2011 now that I think about it. Either 2011 or 12. But yes, Chad was a beast.
And he's a big dude. He's maybe one of the original big guys, right? Who was who is good. I'm not talking about like the guys who were at the ranch.
We're gonna have a throwback tonight, by the way. Something popped up on my radar on the leaderboard. I can't wait until see if you pick up on it. Look at
McKay's calves.
Pretty good too. You know,
That calf on the right looks like or our left, but his right looks like a testicle. Doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, when you think about great performers at the CrossFit Games from Australia, who comes to mind?
The great performers from Australia?
Yeah.
On this
the
guy,
side.
Chad McKay, Cara Saunders. You're talking about old school?
Men's side.
Oh, God, there's this who's the guy he's the amazing coach too. Was a great masters athlete. Give me the first letter of his name. Matt Swift.
Matt Swift, but okay. Rob Forte is the one I expected you to
Sorry. Yes, Rob Forte. God, Rob.
But
Rob, I'm a piece of shit for that. Sorry. What? Say it again.
But this is what's so interesting about Rob Forte. Rob Forte's 7 games appearances, and his best finish was 12th one time. Chad McKay, which is a lot less well known, 3 games appearances, and his worst games finish was 12th.
Yeah, he was a savage. I'm telling you, he was going to probably win one year.
He never really broke through to podium contention. He was 12th this first year. He missed a year. He was 9th, and then he was 11th. So it's just he was like Alex.
What year did he pull out? Does that include the year he pulled out? He must have taken a 40th one year.
Oh, 2 years after that, he withdrew in 2015. Other withdrawals that year were Neil Maddox and Joe Scaley.
Oh, Scaley was great too. What a great personality he was. The thing about McKay too that you knew he was great, he was the kind of guy who had like the giant posters of him. Like there were 3 giant posters, and one of them at the game somewhere, like the ones that's like 6 stories tall, and one of them was McKay. Mm-hmm. I mean, somebody knew. We knew. Yeah,
no, 3 times at the games, average a 10th place finish. That's pretty good.
And then he fizzled out into now he's a nobody. Yeah. Now he's just a dude who trains some old lady.
Yeah, and I mean, there's examples like this up and down the leaderboard. There's a lot of athletes who can only make the games one time. There's a smaller percentage that can make it 2 to 4 times, and then there's the rarities that can make it 5+ times.
When you mention Lynn Knappman going to the games 12 or 13 or 14 or since 2012 10 times consecutive, and that she doesn't make it this year because of handstand push-ups, are you angry? Are you bitter? Soccer mom, before you answer that, Brian says Lynn Knappman is missing the games due to lack of a strict handstand push-up. Consolo Cruz has made the games with a single double for double unders and not able to swim. Just saying for information.
Yeah, this is going to get to a bigger picture. We can go. I mean, it doesn't matter where we go first, but this is a bigger picture problem, I would say, with where Adrian is emphasizing skills being critical as a part of your fitness early in the season. So he's putting, we have seen athletes miss the games because they were unable to do high level skills at the qualifier for the games. Sam Briggs handstand walking 2014, the year after she won. Katrin Davidsdottir legless rope climbs the year before in 2013. After making in 2012. But this is a qualifier. This isn't a qualifier to the games. Even for these guys, they get a top 30, get to advance. And so you look at someone like Lynn, so the testing that has come out for 12 years in a row, she's beaten the test every single time. And she's made it to the games and performed top 6 in her age division at every part of that. She's aged through 2 complete divisions, and for 5 years in a row has made it and been in the top 6, whether they take 20 or 10, whether she's the youngest or the oldest. She's done everything that's been asked of her. And when Adrian talks about how, you give me a couple of years and you'll start to see my emphasis on programming and where I, my wrinkle in the nuance of it compared to the previous programmer, well, we're seeing it right here. Is that her performance on the other 4 workouts would have yielded her somewhere between a 5th and 10th place finish, assuming that she had a comparable finish on the 5th test. But she did 0 reps. So she has one movement that she can't do, and it's going to prevent her from even advancing to the next stage, it looks like. I mean, it's really
how old
tight.
Is she?
She's 63. So she's like right in the middle of that age division. Now,
let me ask this real quick.
She still could possibly get through because she's only 2 points behind the cut line.
Oh, so she's in 31st.
Tied for 31st. But even within the last hour or two, I think that she's moved up a spot.
Wow. Mother of 4, grandmother of 2, Lynn Knappman has been a constant at the CrossFit Games. This year, Knappman qualified for the 13th consecutive games. This is a post from last year.
13 consecutive last year. So that would mean that's 22, 21, 20. She went at their, they must be counting that as a qualifier, even though they didn't count it when they were talking about Rebecca Voigt last week. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. I don't think that there were Masters in 2010. We'd have to check that. But, CrossFit Games Instagram regularly is posting inaccurate information. So
regularly.
Far too regularly.
Far too regularly. Is there an echo in here? Brian, have the 60-year-old lads, what do you call women? If men are lads, what are women?
Ladies.
Have the 60-year-old lads and ladies ever done handstand push-ups before at the CrossFit Games?
Oh, at the CrossFit Games? Yeah. And
okay.
in qualifiers.
Okay.
So the problem with this is she got 0. I mean, the score last.
Some regions get 2 nights rest. Some get 1 night. Unfair. Where some get 4 events over 3 days and others get 2. Hold on, Kate. Hold on. Don't get all crazy throwing your money around trying to sway the show. We'll be right back to you. Then why? Who cares if she didn't make it? That's her fault. If this has happened before, right? You've seen handstand push-ups before. Sorry. Figure it out, girl. No,
you're not. I mean, you're not wrong when it comes to the competition. Yeah, surely it's obviously that's a hole that she has now. I haven't gone back and looked to see if it's something that maybe she's got an injury this year that's preventing her from doing it, and it's something that she's been able to do in the past. I mean, who knows? Maybe we could find out, but no, it's just
let me ask you one more question about that division. This one's going to be tough. Of so you're saying 30 people from the age group of 60 to 64 are about to move on, and she's not one of them. She's just in the cusp. Of those 30 that made it, do we know if any of them also had a 0 on the handstand push-ups?
Yes, it's the person who's in 23rd and the person who's in 30th.
Wow. But you are suggesting that it's worth looking at, that maybe it was too soon in the competition to put handstand push-ups in, and maybe they should have waited to the semifinals. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily. I do think that there's some elements of that workout that. This is again the question is a really nuanced question that's addressing what I perceive to be a much bigger picture conversation. I would say somewhat of a problem at this point. And that is basically that I'm not, I can't tell from watching the Open to the quarterfinals so far this year what's the purpose of these competitions, I guess. So, like we talk about at the Open, there's obviously 2 main things that are going on. Is that you want to appeal to the masses. You want to have something that's accessible, easy to administer in a group setting, easy to score, fun, challenging, progressive. And also you're advancing a group of people to the next round, but it's a really wide net. And so I think that you do need to have some skills, some strength element, etc. But for the most part, whatever you put there is going to be fine in terms of advancing those people. However, there should still be some element of the Open that's a barrier to entry for the quarterfinals. Like, that's why last time we were on here, I told you that I had Mike do that study of what were the 15% thresholds and what would that have looked like in terms of qualifiers. And there are far fewer people who were able to finish in the top 15% across the board in the Open than finish in the top 10% overall. It's harder to do, but it's also, now you're finding a more capable field for the next stage of competition. Even within those parameters, you would have had women advancing that did not have the prerequisite skills needed for the next stage of competition. Heavy front squats, heavy clean and jerks. I mean, this is for the individuals, but the same thing applies in the masters divisions. They had similar tests, in my opinion, at least in the design. Ring muscle ups, bar muscle ups, unbroken handstand walks, wall facing handstand push-ups. Like the test was hard at quarterfinals, but the barrier to entry, the Open, didn't really do a good job of filtering for people who could do that test. Obviously the top of the top can do all the things, but you're letting like a big group of people into this competition, rewarding them, motivating them, and then giving them something where it's like, I'm done before I even start. And when you fast forward to the masters division, you see something like the first test that they had this past weekend, which was a progression. You have lunges of 3 varying difficulties. You have upper body pulling on the rig, toes to bar, chest to bar muscle up, a natural progression of gymnastics. Pretty much everyone can enter into play. 3 rounds of the easiest stuff, 2 rounds of the next most challenging, 1 round of the most challenging. I think that's great for a quarterfinal because you're accomplishing something similar to the Open, is that everyone gets a chance to start because you have a huge group of people who are eligible to take this test. And then as it advances, you're weeding everyone out. And at the end of the day, the best people will finish this workout under the time cap because they have all the skills and the capacity, and they'll separate themselves from everyone else. You go to the next test number 2A in this case, and it immediately starts with a movement that none of the people in these divisions have ever been asked to do before. The very first rep. 6 wall-facing handstand push-ups strict. So I look at this and I say, there's a bigger problem with this workout also, which is that they somehow on their computer, on the back end, on their system, they had created something where it was complicated or impossible, I'm not entirely sure which one, to enter a score if you got a 0 for part A of this workout, for part B of this workout.
Part B was the clean?
Yeah.
This is the second workout?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is, and in part, this is where the kind person from Australia who gave $7.99 a few minutes ago's question comes into play. Kate, is that you're distributing these tests at a fixed time to a variable population. That means that at noon Pacific time when they're released, everyone in the West Coast can have their lunch, open up the workouts, nice read through them. Pretty much every gym in the world, for the most part, is closed in the middle of the afternoon. You can spend an hour perusing through 12 pages of notes for this workout and come up with a plan and go ahead and do it.
That's how much. There's 12 pages of description for this workout?
Just for test 2.
Okay. Wow.
2A and B. But fast forward 2 hours, I'm in the central time zone, and I have from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon to get workouts done before the gym's busy for the rest of the night. And if we don't get it done in that time period and we want to do anything else that day, we have to come back in the evening at 8 o'clock. Fast forward another 1 hour to the East Coast, and that time window gets even tighter. Fast forward to being in Europe, where now it's 9 or 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock if you're in Eastern Europe, all parts of Africa, Asia, middle of the night. In Australia, it's the early morning. Everyone's getting these tests at a different time. Everyone's already aware of when the workouts need to be done, but they have to, not every person competing in this competition just has access to a gym that they can use any time of day or night that they want to. So they have to make these plans. And that's what I thought was frustrating about this workout in particular, was how many nuances there were to it that were different, and unnecessarily so different than other things that we've already done this or seen this year, whether it's the weights, whether it's the displaying the weights before lifting, whether it's a brand new movement for the handstand.
Fair is a place where they judge pigs.
FARE.
Yeah. Hey, hold on 1 second, Brian. You're getting ahead of me. Can you bear with me here? I'll get you back on track. Bear with me here. Let me contextualize some of this. Is it true that the Open is half the participants in the Open are master's age, meaning they're 35
Pretty
and
close
over?
to it, yeah.
Yeah. So this is an important. I hate to be a dickhead, but this goes kind of in line with how that there's not a occupational games. And we had Justin Bergs already say that we're doing what matters. And whether that was an accident that he said that or not, clearly the first responder community is at the base of this community. It's where it is the foundation. Without them, this fucking thing falls apart, whether anyone there knows it or not. And same thing with the masters. So there's a little bit of neglect here, maybe. Is that what you're saying? Or not awareness of these guys?
Potentially, yeah.
Is there a fix for that time problem?
Well, so no, that's just the.
Or is it just like America?
No, that's the reality that we're playing within. It's not.
Okay.
I don't think it's a problem. But knowing that, if I was the person who is distributing this test and I knew that, I would be making an effort to make sure that, especially the workouts that were needed to be done in that first 24-hour window, were really simple for everyone to understand.
I see what you're saying. So there's things we can do to accommodate. Maybe we can't fix the problem, but we can accommodate the problem that's going to arise for those people who have shorter time.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay. Okay.
For example, and granted, it is true that there was this requirement last year in the age group qualifier or quarterfinal, I believe, but you have to display the weight on a whiteboard or a piece of paper for the 1 rep max clean. Why don't you just do that for the 1 rep max thruster in the open? Just start the season the way that you're going to have that carry out throughout the rest of the season that way. Because everyone who's made this stage not everyone who's competing in the age group quarterfinals this year competed in the age group quarterfinals last year. There'll be a lot of people that, they made it for their first time, or they took a year off last year, or they just started doing CrossFit in the last year or two, and this is brand new to them.
Right.
But every one of those people has done the open. And you've already chosen to have a heavy lift in the open in almost the exact scenario where there was a Metcon and then a fixed 5-minute window to do a lift. Just if everyone had to do that in the open, no one would think twice about it in the quarterfinals. Everyone.
Well, let me ask you this: if let's say they forgot and they just thought of it now, you think they should have just waited till next year to implement it? What's the value of having them hold a piece of paper up with the weight on it?
I think that I think it's a great idea for them to do that, because it's a lot less likely that there's something lost in translation. Like writing the numbers in English is, I would say, probably across the global spectrum of people that we're testing here, more likely to have accuracy, than saying the numbers out loud, where there's so many different languages that people could speak potentially.
Well, you have to also see the weights in the video.
Yeah.
So that could have been something that could have been, if you forgot and you just thought about it just now, you could have waited to implement until next year.
I think probably the other way around. You already implemented it last year, so you've had the chance to evaluate whether you liked it or not last year. If you liked
they did that last year. Sorry, I misunderstood.
For
they
the
did
quarterfinals.
Oh, okay.
In the age group quarterfinals last year, yes, they did. So it's not the first time, but it's like, well, if you like it, then why didn't you use it in the open this year? And if you didn't like it, why did you use it in the quarterfinals?
There's a there's a line in your post you made on Instagram. You said, "Hey, your biggest supporters are the people who are doing this."
Mm-hmm.
And so let's not complicate things for them, or let's not frustrate them. They're the biggest supporters. They're the biggest boosters. They're the ones who are trying the hardest. They're the ones who've committed the largest portion of their life. They're the ones they're the most vocal about CrossFit. They're the ones making the most posts. They're the ones who have the most followers. So part of your thing is to accommodate them, correct?
Yeah. And I have heard Justin Berg, especially, I think, say that they are, the games team is making an initiative to reach out to different parts of the community to gather information, and are, considering that in their decision-making process for this year and for years to come. But when I see the way that they're running these tests, that's not what it looks like. The way that they're administering these competitions, to me, is showing what I've always kind of felt was the case from HQ, is that they're have elite and integral knowledge of what they're doing, but they're not actually having a great sense of what's going on in the global competitive CrossFit space. And I think that is also abundantly clear in the way that they're distributing and administering the team competition this year.
What do you mean by that? Do you have examples?
Yeah, I mean, you have there. Now this entire conversation is going to go back to the same kind of fork in the road conversation that we've always had: is what is the point of the CrossFit Games? And if the point of the CrossFit Games is to find the single fittest man, woman, and team or affiliate, then the rest of the conversation is irrelevant. However, in my opinion, if you're going to find the fittest person, you want to see them do the best at the best test against the best field of athletes. Meaning that I don't want to say like, oh, well, Sevan, you won the competition this weekend. Congratulations. And I look around and your opponents were 3 6-year-old girls, and you won the basketball tournament. It's like, he was the best there. Yeah, but he wasn't going against anyone that was competitive. So who cares? I want to see the best against the best. Right. And I also want to know how they all stack up against each other. That's why I don't like cuts. That's why I don't like changing scoring systems. Pick one, stick with it, give them 15 tests, let them take it, see where the chips fall, and then we'll know. This year, with the introduction of worldwide ranking and strength of field, CrossFit has made an effort to communicate that their intention is still to represent the global population at the games, and that they want to have a field that's at least somewhat reflective of the true competitive nature of competition. Like where the best people are distributed, we'll get more spots so that at the games we have a higher level of competition across the board. and they've made an effort to do that in the individual division. I think that they've not done a great job in that regard, and that there are better ways that they could do that. And I think that as anyone who's been listening to me about this knows, I think that starting with a clean slate at the start of the year this year would have been a good route for that. But what I really
you're talking about for the worldwide rankings and the strength of field.
Yeah. But what I really think would have been cool is to say, well, let's try that with the teams, because the teams change every year. So instead of just arbitrarily saying 10 spots here, 10 spots here, 2 spots there, without having any idea of who's competing anywhere, because you don't require them to necessarily sign up or commit to a team in the start of the season, why not let them go through 2 stages? You could still have however many qualifiers you want. I mean, obviously, you're not going to take 30 teams from North America East. But Sevan, did you know that 17 of the top 30 teams in the world are from North America East right now? And they only get 10 spots to the games. So if you look, so just like a very, very simple way to do it, you just do the teams, you have them do the open, you have them do the quarterfinals, you look at the top 100 teams worldwide after the quarterfinals. You already know that no matter what, we're giving one to every continent. Even if Africa doesn't have a team in the top 1,000, they're getting one, which, by the way, they do. They have a good team over there this year, and they usually have 1 or 2 good teams. But everyone will get at least one, and then based on the top 100 after that, we're going to distribute. Maybe you want to have a couple minimums, fine, but I don't even think you need it. I think if you just distributed based on percentages, you'd get a better competition at the games for the team division this year. And you can use it as a case study to see if it might be something you want to do with the individuals next year.
I'm not so lost, just maybe half lost. Brian, I want to go back. Brian's just been shot out of a cannon. I'm not lost at all. I've been watching some of these ideas percolate in his head. He's just not letting me interrupt. He's grabbed the. I went to the bathroom and he grabbed the wagon and he's running the horses. Brian, why do the Masters need quarterfinals and semifinals? Why not just give it? And I'm not voting for one or another, but it seems a little much. Why not just go open, whatever you want to call it, the semifinals and then the games with these guys?
Personally, I think that would make a lot of sense.
You do like that?
Yeah. If you were going to have a live semifinal, maybe not, but having 3 online competitions, I don't know. I think, and I think that, once again, in addition to maybe streamlining the qualifying process a little bit, that this is another example of CrossFit just doing things what appears to be arbitrarily without really giving much thought to it. And we showed a spreadsheet on here a month or so ago that depicted this really nicely. But just look at the men's 35 to 39 division. Have you looked at that leaderboard?
No, let's do it. I got a whole list of people, by the way, that I want to ask you about that I'm excited about.
Good.
How's Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet doing this year?
Let's go to the men's division first.
What is Sam Dancer doing? Let me ask you this. Let's just start here. Honest. I'm going to give you, you have to abstain from your favorite activity, whatever that is.
Disc golf.
For a year if you get this wrong.
No, I'm not playing.
I know, but just theoretically, do you think
thrusters? Okay, thrusters I'll play.
Sam Dancer actually makes it, finishes the game. Let's say I don't think Sam Dancer makes it past event 1 at the games, even if he makes it. I seriously don't. I'm not even joking. I'm not trying to be mean. I just don't. It's like he's like a school bus put together, a big yellow old school bus put together with duct tape. It's cool, but something's gonna fall off.
And Big Bird did the duct tape job.
I guess. Tell me, do you think Sam Dancer actually makes it to the end of the season this year?
I hope so.
But come on, I'm gonna just imagine you had to. If it's a year of frisbee golf on the line.
I want to bet that.
You don't want to bet that, okay? Caleb, do you want to bet for Brian?
He's not making it.
Not even close. Sorry, Sam. Love you. You can come on the show and commentate. We need athletes to spin. Okay, so let's talk about these guys. You want to talk about how great these dudes are, how many beasts there are?
Well, first of all, if you scroll to the bottom of this page, and then you see the number 35, there's page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the way to the right, there's 35. So that means 35 pages of 50 men signed up for this division.
Okay.
35,000 of these men registered for the Open.
Okay.
They get 10 spots to the games.
That's 1,750, by the way. 50 times 35.
10 spots to the games.
Okay.
1,750 men signed up for this division. I bet there's like 10 or 12 other divisions combined that's registrants might not equal that.
Is that our James Howell? Is that J.R.
Yeah.
Howell right there at 48th?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's why we went to the bottom of the page. No.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
Yep.
Wow, he got 15th in a workout?
Yeah, the running one, of course, that's the running rope climbs bench press workout. That workout was written for him.
What a savage. Okay.
He has a 307-pound clean too.
Okay. So what you're saying is that you want more than 10 guys, dude. You're asking a lot, dude.
Go up to the top.
Listen, let me ask you this. What if
I'm not asking? Are you kidding me? I'm asking a lot.
Yeah, you're asking a lot because look, I think these guys are lucky they even have a 35 to 40 division, dude.
Go to the top.
I seriously think that they're lucky. Do you remember what I think the Masters used to start at 40?
Look at these names. Look at these people competing here.
They got an Asian guy.
Brian
Is
Wong.
there an Asian guy? Has
He's
an
from
Asian
the United
guy?
States. He won last year.
Oh, he's not Asian.
No.
Oh. Okay. All right. Scott Panchik, that shot me. Stephen Fawcett, I remember that name.
Mhm.
Lars Christensen. I have no idea who that is. Mark Hutchinson, I have no idea who that is. Papadopoulos, I know who that is. Agidius, I know who that is. Steinhaus, don't know who that is. Julian Lopez, don't know who that is. Paul Tremblay.
Yep, wouldn't make it.
Elijah
You don't
Muhammad.
know all these guys. Kyle Ruth's very good. Elijah Muhammad. Keep going down.
Dan Bailey.
Ben Stoneberg, Charles
Wow.
Becker.
Hey, wait, what's going on? I'm surprised Ben Stoneberg didn't place higher.
These guys are all incredible. Like
he was incredible. That's one of probably
These
the most
guys are
underrated
so
guys in the
good.
history of the sport.
Go to workout 2B and sort by the weights that these guys lifted. And just look at this.
383, 380, 379, 379, 374, 360. Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Rich's clean 353 is impressive. There's a dozen guys lifting more than that.
I think he said, we have the clip, we'll play it, but I think he said that's the most he's lifted in 3 years.
These guys are good. I mean, they're really good. They're showing up in massive numbers.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look, the year that JR competed at the games, he got in on a backfill and he finished 8th. Like, the guys that are coming in 20th have a chance to finish. Some of them will still have a chance to finish in the top 7 or 8 at the games.
So how many do you think? By the way, here's Rich. You can play the audio in this too. There's a great little interview after this. Thanks, Caleb. Angelo, Guy.
He just walks up and does it for free.
Huh? That's the most I've cleaned in about 3 years. So, yeah, I'll take that.
So he also said, hey, can someone put my hip back in place? my hip back in the socket, something like that. This is while we're here. Great question, Jan. Is Rich actually going to compete? Do we know, Brian? I think he'll come on the show this week. By the way, we can find out from the horse's mouth. But have you heard anything, Brian?
I have not. I mean, it's that's one of those things where I'm definitely not going to bother him about it. He's going to do what he wants to do either way, and obviously, if he any stage of the competition that he competes in, it's fun to have him in it. And if he does go to the games, that would be awesome. But
did you see what they titled the clip? It said he's Rich Froning returns to individual competition. But he also did say, can someone put my hip back in?
Well, that's why you've never heard anyone say, hey, where are you going? I'm going to watch the individuals when they're going to watch the 60-year-olds. They say, I'm going to watch the masters that need to have their hip put back in.
Yeah, I will butter. I will butter him, Dick. I will definitely butter him. Brian, how many do you think they need? What do you think that they should just split them away from the games completely? Just have a masters event at a different time of the year?
Well, first of all, I'm not saying that every division needs 20 spots.
Okay.
I think that realistically, and especially when you consider,
how about the girls? Do they get 20?
I think you should just look at the numbers. Like it's. I think that in the masters divisions, it makes a lot of sense, and I did. Like I said, we have a spreadsheet of that somewhere. I just wasn't prepared for it tonight. Oh, maybe I could find it, but
the man from England has spoken. Sam Dancer will 100% make it to and through the games. He's in great shape. Last year, he had a mishap. Mr. Al Chama, I appreciate your input. He is in good shape, and last year he did have a mishap. No, he's not fucking making it. He's not going to do it. Sorry. There's no fucking way. I'm telling you, he's put together with duct tape. Good duct tape. It's beautiful. When it's operational, it's great. How about that guy's team? This guy wants a piece of action. How about the Invictus team?
I made a team's power rankings.
You did. And I don't want to hear anyone in the comment be like, does this show have any organization? No, you already know that. Don't say stupid shit. No, it does not. We'll get to you. We'll get to you in a second, Al Chama. Have to have Jorge talk to you about lipping out in the comments here. Is this team doing good?
Yeah,
yeah,
they're doing very well. I actually think that the team competition this year will be fairly competitive. At least
I hope they will.
They'll definitely have a chance to win.
Yeah, they're my team. Who's on that team? Fernandez, and Weiss, and Chama, and don't tell me, and Kim.
Well done,
Devin Kim. Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, that's my team this year.
That's you just earned yourself one more. You can call me when you're live on the air one time now.
You heard it, people. It doesn't mean he's not going to hang up, but I got one. I'll write that down here. Call Brian. I'll write it on my Colton Merton sticker. Call Brian. I got one. I'll make a little coupon. Brian, go back. Answer me this real quick. Why don't we know? Why aren't these aren't finalized yet? What's going on?
No, they're just in review. They allow a few days for review. They want to ask for some videos, review some stuff, whatever. I don't know how thoroughly they'll do it relative to the teams. It's relative to the individuals for the teams and the age groups. Like I said, it's the individuals. Although there are 300 qualifiers, men and women, in the teams division, there's it's cumbersome to watch those videos. There's a lot more going on, 4 people doing something instead of 1 person doing something, and then there's almost 20 different age group divisions. You have to advance 30 people in each one of those, so it's not like the numbers are getting any smaller. It's actually a bigger pool of work.
Yeah, it's insane. When you suggest,
and not only that, but it's the same people for the most part that did it last week or 2 weeks ago. I mean, I don't think I could do that. That's ridiculously tedious.
Meaning that these age group online qualifiers also did the quarterfinals for the individual.
The review team.
Oh, the review team. Oh, yeah. Did you hear?
Like one weekend of that is enough.
Did you hear Andrew Hiller's description of that on his video that he put out today?
From today, no.
It's actually quite amazing. He said he used to work for a company that did quality assurance on cereal boxes. And basically, they x-rayed every single cereal box before it went to the shelf. And the reason why they x-rayed them is they were looking for metal inside of the cereal boxes. They used a metal detector and they x-rayed them. And 4 people had to look at every cereal box. And the reason why they had 4 people look at every cereal box is because they knew people would fall asleep.
Well,
and that was it. It was a fascinating. If anyone didn't see Hiller's video today, it was put out about 15 hours ago. It's a really good description of how tedious the review process can be. Go ahead.
Caleb, if I email you an article right now, is that going to work?
If you email it to the right one.
To the right.
Okay, well.
I'll put it in the chat.
I'm sending it to your Gmail.
Let me talk about
that one.
Let me do a little bit more on Rich. Can we talk about Rich a little bit more?
We can, but sure, we can come back to this.
We'll come right back to this. I just need 5 minutes of Rich time for the ratings. I don't really want to talk about him. Who's more likely to go to the Masters games this year? Rich, who we just don't know what he's going to do, or Sam Dancer, who's held together by duct tape?
I would say Sam.
All right. You heard it. You will not be playing Frisbee for a whole year. Okay.
No, that was not. This is just go to the game.
I know. Can we pull up Rich's Instagram account?
Do you want to see if he has more followers than you still?
Yeah. Rich Froney. What's interesting about this is that Rich does not do his own Instagram. So that means he piped off about this and someone did this, because I think he avoids social media. And unless he's on his, I don't know how I think he pretty much I don't know if he even has the Instagram app on his phone, but look at his most recent post.
Hey.
I sent you a link to it. No, not that one. Oh, here it is. Okay, sorry. Second most recent. This is from Rich Froney. Arguably the most boring workout I've ever done. The age group online qualifier test 3. Can anyone think of some I'm forgetting? Full workout is up on YouTube channel. I watched this video, and my immediate thought is, why? I did not enjoy watching it at all. But if you're going to do something different and you're going to make these guys run back and forth that many times, why are they having them touch the ground? Why not change that? Why not remove a barrier? Be like, hey, all you have to do is cross the tape and turn around. And the tape has to clearly be able to see it in the shot. And then from there, we'll see some innovation and some athletic adaptation that's different than what we've seen in the past about how people change directions. Do you like this ground touching thing?
Wait, you didn't like watching it?
No, I hated it. But I don't know if that, I'm not saying that's relevant.
How do you think?
I mean, I love watching Rich. I could watch Rich do anything. Clean his ears, I'd be down, but not 50 times. I don't like 4 ear cleanings. I'm good.
How do you think the review team feels about this workout?
Yeah, the review team must.
Can you imagine reviewing this workout? It's all no. We're just do 3 people in every division. Oh my god.
So, for one, does it matter that he thinks it's a boring workout? What do you think he's really saying? Boring.
I mean, so this workout, I decided to do this workout with the women's bench press weight because I wanted to know. I was like, it looks ridiculous, 50 shuttle runs, but I've not ever done 50 shuttle runs. Definitely haven't done them at the end of a Metcon like that. So I just did the workout to see. I thought it was okay. I think that I do think, like, if I was going to program it for my affiliate, I would program it as an 800-meter run in the beginning and end. And I think that it would be a much more fun workout. It does kind of suck running there back and forth, but sometimes, I view that as an opportunity. So like, that's an opportunity for you to test your mental resiliency. Like, do you just zone out and fall off the pace? Are you able to think of something to keep you motivated and moving? Can you set some kind of a goal to like a little check-in for yourself every 5 or 10 reps to make sure that you're on pace with something, or you're whatever you're trying to execute? So I just kind of use it as an opportunity to do something new. I could definitely see where it's boring and monotonous, but I also can see where there could potentially be some payoff in terms of a mental discipline.
Okay, fair. I want to see Rich do high rocks. God, that would be see him go up against Hunter. This could be Hunter's last year. Hunter just broke the world record also unofficially. Yeah, I'd like to see that too. That'd be crazy. Can we go check out Andrew Hiller's Instagram account? Hiller just called out Rich for not following standard. Let's take a quick peek at that real quick here. Okay. Oh no. Oh Nelly. Here we go. Pop this up. Let's read this. Uh-oh. Here we go. How dare you, Andrew? I don't think even Rich cares. I don't think Rich probably truly does not care. Some people pretend to not care. I'm guessing Rich doesn't. He cares. Not that he doesn't care. I'm sure he tried to follow the rules. It's not that, but if they're gonna ding him, he's probably like, "What the fuck?" You may use any available flat bench. You may place bumper plates under your feet. He used a yoke, which was pretty cool. I like the look of that. You may not use floor press or use a bench with any incline or decline. Athletic tape on the bar must be used to establish a 40-inch width. No part of your hands may be wider than 40 inches. That's stupid. If any of your hands makes contact with something at any point, the rep will not count. Now here's the part Hiller circled. You must use a standard pronated grip. Your thumb must be wrapped around the bar. It doesn't even make sense. Why would they require that? That's some sort of safety precaution. Why the fuck would they require that?
This is a minor example of the big picture that I was telling you about earlier. Make it easy on yourself. Don't write 12 pages of standards. Just make it simple. Feet stay on the ground. That makes sense. Thumb wrapped around the bar. Who cares?
Who's care? Who's care? That's how Armenians say it, who English is their second language. Who's care? Who's care? Wow.
But how do they bench press in Armenia? Thumbs around?
Thumbs one-handed. Juice to the gills. Wow. Okay. Fair enough. They don't penalize Rich for that at all, right? That's
Well, it comes back to this. In addition to writing, sometimes tedious standards like that, they also outline penalties and grounds for invalidation. But we know from individual quarterfinals, for example, that there are athletes who are doing something that was not even what the movement was really. They were doing handstand push-ups on a handstand push-up line that wasn't as close to the wall as it was supposed to be. And they didn't get it's not like the workout just stopped at that point and they were giving all the reps up to that as if they had done none, which they had actually done none. They were just given a major penalty, a 15% penalty. And it's like, okay, they didn't even do it. Like 10 inches is not 12 inches. And if you're going to have this at 10 inches and you know that the person did 12 inches, then how are you giving credit for those reps?
Right. I agree.
What was the penalty for not wrapping your thumb around the bar? Where was that written?
Let me ask you this, though. I've been doing bench press as long as fucking anyone. I can't think of any benefit to wrapping or not wrapping except for safety. I've never heard, right? I don't wrap.
So if you're going to include a standard like that, this
you wrap,
is
Caleb?
just me.
No.
Do you wrap, Brian?
Yes.
Oh.
Suicide grip.
But if you're going to include a standard like that, like someone is there writing this and saying, are we going to let them put their thumb around the bar? No. Yes, whatever you decide on, then the next question should be, and what if they do? Or what if they don't? Then what's the penalty?
Oh, right. Way, if you're going to have a rule, no speeding, no going over 55 miles an hour, you need to know what the penalty is already too.
Look at this rule, by the way.
Yeah,
missing or skipping any repetitions will result in the athlete score being adjusted to the last correctly completed rep before the missed or skipped rep. So in that, when I read that, which I don't know if this bullet point is on every single.
Read it one more time, Brian. Read it one more time.
Missing or skipping any repetitions will result in the athlete's score being adjusted to the last correctly completed rep before the missed or skipped rep.
Wow.
So when I read that in relation to the handstand push-up situation I talked about before, I would assume that the workout ends there. Now, this is from this test.
Yeah,
with the bench
meaning
press.
if one round you only did 5 and you were supposed to do 6 and you still had a killer score, it doesn't matter. It goes back to where you missed that rep and that's your score.
That's what it says there.
Right, for sure.
But I'm reading through all of this, and it's an incorrect weight. That's grounds for a 0 score. Incorrect distance for shuttle round, 0 score. Incorrect height for rope climb. Counting 25 feet as 50 feet. Not visually confirming floor. Altering the rep scheme. Incorrect measurements of any part of the setup. Failure to use a registered judge. But I'm reading through all of these things, and there's no penalty for what does it mean to wrap or unwrap your. So then if there's nothing written that says what happens to the athlete when they do that thing that they're not supposed to do, then what do you do?
Well, you assume that they know. The same reason like you don't know how much it costs for a speeding ticket, but you assume when they give you the ticket, they already know.
Well, in other areas, we saw very clear things written, like you may not leave the frame of the video during the video. And then we saw published videos from CrossFit of athletes doing that and not getting a penalty for it. So what am I supposed to assume there?
Well, then they would claim common sense. Hey, I do want to say this. There's that famous line from Becky Marsh or Becky Harsh or Heather Marsh or what, I don't remember her name, but she said, a thruster, you know what that is. And boy, once you say that, man, that's like Rich Froning knows what a bench press is. I don't care how he does it, wrapped or unwrapped. I mean, you really open up the door for that. Okay, hey, they're not going to penalize him for that.
Then why'd you write the rule?
Because if complete incompetence that's going on over there, that's endless. That's endless.
I know.
That's endless. That's endless fucking incompetence there. I know some of you are like, it doesn't matter. Because you're right, it doesn't matter. Like, I have kids and I need to put them to bed. And them brushing their teeth is more important to me than any of this. But not to some people. Hey, I actually thought about this today in the shower. I hate to beat a dead horse. Think of anything in any fucking sport that's as bad as what they did to Laura and Gabby. They bragged that it was the most watched open in the history of the sport, and they put the wrong weights on them. They're fucking crazy. While we're beating them up a little bit, is that true? I'm trying to understand what's going on with the pounds and kilograms. Are you telling me that there was inconsistencies in the weights again?
Did you just get that spreadsheet I shared with you earlier?
No, I have 3 pages of notes I'm trying to get through before I'm trying to take control of the show back from you a little bit.
Oh, okay. Good.
What? Thank you.
So I just,
how can that be?
This is a very dense spreadsheet, by the way. I did this
morning.
Can I
pee first? Can I pee? Can I run a little
Yeah, what do you want me to do while you pee? While you're gone?
I'm just gonna run a can you run that thing that you made a long time ago, Caleb, where it's like all the funny things? Like I treat the mic like a penis. Oh, here, I got it. Okay. We'll be right back. 55 seconds, people.
What is with this guy,
If Howard Stern and Joe Rogan had a baby, you'd be looking at him. Remember, the people were live, so don't start picking your nose or pull your dick out or anything crazy like that. And this is why this is the greatest show on the internet, because there's a comment here that says a lot of pre-cum, and then right after there's a comment that says it's so sad. Let's go back to hand jobs.
People without their names, and they
No one clip that and play that on the internet. A thumb with a mustache. Yes. A thumb. Listen, a guy named Johan Lopez called you a thumb with a mustache. Wow.
I'm gonna shit myself.
Man, that Sevan podcast is dull as shit.
Okay, you guys have a great day.
Okay.
You too. Thanks for calling.
Mwah.
No.
I was feeling familial, like it was my mom I was talking to.
And we're back. Thank you. Appreciate everyone's time and patience. Okay.
That was great. I love that.
The weights. Explain to me in 3rd grade very slowly about this inconsistency in weights. This is inconsistency for Europeans versus Americans? Europeans get to lift 1 pound less?
Oh, I just went through this morning for individual quarterfinals, which is what this is. And then if you scroll down, you'll see the age group quarterfinals tests. And if you scroll below that, you'll see the open. And I just, and every workout that had weights, I just pulled out what the written weights were pounds to kilograms. And then in some cases, I did a little math to try to figure it out. So let's go down to the open first. It's at the bottom.
Okay, I'm still lost, but I appreciate it. It's good. It's a big picture.
Where is this thing?
I uninvited. I had a big list of people invited on the show, and then I uninvited them. But thank you for asking, Barry. Thanks for making it uncomfortable.
So the yellow in the open is 23.1. That's for wall balls, and it's the top part. And then the second part is for the weights of 45, 65, 95, 115, and 135. And you see the corresponding kilograms on the side.
Yeah.
And those are pretty standard and will be standard almost all of the time. The problem is that the word almost has to be included there. The 23.2B is where you have the lifting test. This is the thruster. And and on the test, it just says you can use a 45 and a 35 pound barbell. And then if you look to the right on the 3 bullets on there, there's nothing listed about the weight of the barbells in kilograms for this workout. There's no conversion table provided for anyone who's using kilograms for this workout. The only directive given is if you're converting kilograms to pounds, it should say LBS instead of BS, round up to the nearest pound. That's the first lifting test of the year. That's also the one that has, you don't have to show your weights. But to me, it's like if you're going to have a lifting test in the open and you're Adrian Bosman and you know what's coming in quarterfinals and you know what's coming in semifinals and you know that at the subsequent stages of the season that anytime someone's doing a 1 rep max, there's going to be a weight displayed, just establish that as a baseline expectation from the open. Similarly, because let's go to Caleb, let's scroll up to
So wait a second. So there's an inconsistency so far you've shown. Sometimes they tell you the kilograms to use. Sometimes they want you to convert it yourself.
correct. So here,
Okay.
if we go to the age
Just
group
so anyone knows,
quarterfinal,
any professional outfit usually has, I forget what the book's called, our CrossFit Journal has it, but it's a book with all of the rules you'll follow, the font you'll use, the font, the size of the font and the header, how things, it's a style guide. You'll have a style guide.
Yeah.
And so these things wouldn't happen if there was someone in charge. This just shows no one's in charge. There's just no
and
one
actually
in
the
charge.
best place that we could go to show this, Caleb, would be the scorecard for test 2A of the age group quarterfinals, the one that's 12 pages long, but we just don't want to go to page number 2. And it'll show basically what I'm saying right here for test 2B, that for this test, which is in the second stage of the season now, they provide a scoring table. So we scroll down to page number 2 and 3. Wait.
Sorry, wrong one.
Okay. And there's a couple things that are notable. One is that
Hold on. Careful, dickhead. Dick sucker. I know what DS stands for, you dick sucker. Careful. I know what you're doing. Careful. You shut your pie hole. Okay, sorry. Go on.
No, that's good.
Not that there's anything wrong with sucking dick. I didn't mean to throw that into this whole negative category. No one stop what they're doing. Get back to work. Okay.
So this page, I think this page should have just been in the open when there were a 1 rep max thruster. And now you've established it as the expectation for how pounds will be converted to kilograms for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change in quarterfinals and change again in semifinals and different again at the games.
No.
Once you establish it, that's what it is for the entire competitive season, open through games. And if you want to change it in the off season, reintroduce it with any changes or the same standard as one before. But
Right.
they did not provide this in the open. They did provide it for test 2 of the age group quarterfinals. So now we have here, except example 1 says a barbell that weighs 20 kilograms that has previously been counted as 45 pounds now only counts as 44 pounds.
Wow. Okay.
Now
Yep.
you are a practitioner of the CrossFit methodology dating back for nearly 2 decades.
Thank
so
you,
you
yes.
will know what the definition of work is,
Yes.
according to CrossFit.
I actually
You
have in
will
here. It's kind of a mockery of all of CrossFit by not having the measurements consistent and accurate and repeatable.
It is. And you will
It's a mockery
also-
of the whole methodology.
And therefore, you will know that if you count the barbell in a 1 rep max lift as 1 pound less that the significance it has on the workout is far inferior to if you count the barbell as 2 pounds more in a workout that you have to do 72 thrusters and take those extra 2 pounds through this range of motion 72 times as opposed to 1 time.
Right.
Anyway, I think that I don't care if the bar is going to, if a 20 kilogram bar counts as 44 or 45 pounds. I just want it to count as the same thing every time. And I think that literally every person on earth could agree with that. And somehow the people that are in charge of this competition can't get that right.
You know, it's interesting. I listened to that interview that Adrian did with Chase. And one of the things that he said in there was that if the judging, the older movements, I'm trying to paraphrase this, but obviously the older movements like a thruster, they'll be more strict on. The newer movements, they'll be more lenient on. That being said, the one thing that they will do is they will be consistent in the judging. So if they're not going to penalize one person for not putting their head through and another person for putting their head through, and that they're just going to choose something like just the bar being overhead. They're going to choose something. They're going to stay consistent with it. Well, they're not doing it with what's the most important thing ever, and it's the weights. They're not being consistent with the weights. It's crazy. Jeremy World, second donation of the day. Where the fuck is my wrench? She wants to. You can't buy it. Can you buy a wrench? Can you buy? Do we sell wrenches?
We'll sell wrenches.
Not for $5. We don't. Okay.
No, you're definitely not getting one.
But this, maybe you want to pull up that article that I sent to Caleb now, since we're talking about this.
You should just text it to me.
Not easy to do.
Look at Trish. Do we want that power? Can I ask you about some people in particular? Can I ask you about the workouts in general? There were 4 workouts, correct?
Yeah.
And the teams also had 4.
Well, there were 5 tests for the for the Masters, because 2A and 2B. And I think there were 5 scores for the teams because they had whatever A and B when they had to do the lifting at the end.
So sorry, let me ask this one more time. So these 5 scores, were they consistent with the teens?
With
the teams, all the age group people and the teams, were they consistent?
No, the teams had different workouts.
Completely different. They weren't consistent with these. There was no like,
Correct.
you know what? Okay, fine. Okay, and they had. How many scores did they have?
5.
5 also. Okay. And did you starting with the age group online qualifier? Did you like the workouts?
Well,
let me start bigger picture. Do you like them as a test in their totality? Do you like the test?
I'm okay with the test. Yeah.
Okay. And
I do think that the test will do a good job of qualifying 30 capable athletes for the next round of competition in each division.
Okay, that's fair. Outside of the fact of, that's a good way to put it, outside of the fact of the other things that you established that you'd like to see in a test, also ease of score, ease of setup at the gym, not complicating and the judges, things like that, the nuances that make the totality of it a great test. But in terms of it picking the fittest, you're happy with it?
Yeah, I mean, I just look at the work, like, the first workout with the increase in complexity dumbbell snatch or of walking lunges with the dumbbells and the gymnastics movements. Like, you have to be fairly well-rounded as a CrossFit athlete to do well on that workout. You come to the next workout and now, you have to have a very high skill pressing movement. And for 99% of the people taking the test, your capacity on a strict handstand push-up facing the wall that you probably haven't practiced very much until maybe this last month is like, that's it. If you're good at it, you're going to do well in this workout or not, but you're definitely checking the box of the upper body press. You come to the workout after that. Well, it's a lifting workout, so you're hitting a strength component. Then you have a really long workout. 30-minute time cap is about as long as you're going to see in an online competition. A mile of running, 2 sets of 7 legless rope climbs, so really, and a bench press. You get a push, pull, and run, long time domain, and then you have what I think is actually on its own the best test of the 5, which is the thruster rowing, disgusting workout. And I would guess that would probably be the best correlate of overall fitness of these 5. And
What was that workout? Thruster, rowing, and what else? That's it.
That's it. 27, 21, 15, 9. It was 2015 open workout number 5.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. And for the teams?
I wasn't as familiar with the team workouts as the other ones, but I do remember that there seemed to be a lot of weightlifting overhead for the team competition. And I would guess that if you looked at that a little bit more closely, it would be disproportional to pretty much everything else in there. But the workouts were tough, and I spent some time looking at the leaderboard today, and all the teams that were on my radar prior to the season starting are filtering right up to the top. So the fittest are prevailing, which is, not just one fittest, but all of the fittest teams are prevailing, including all of the ones from North America East. And therefore, the test was probably pretty good, even if it might have had some redundancy in terms of the skills being tested.
And the teams and the masters do not have a worldwide ranking or a strength of field number.
Correct.
Okay. And why? I guess I kind of get for the teams, although it might encourage teams to stay together. But why not for masters?
Probably just because every year 20% of the field moves to another division. It's really hard to track.
There was you touched on this briefly. There was an issue with logging the score of the clean after the handstand push-up. Was that ever fixed, or did they
Well, I don't know. So I'm actually not 100% sure on this anymore. They definitely acknowledged that there was a problem. I'm not sure.
CrossFit Games did. They made an announcement. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who are just tuning in right now, Brian shared with us earlier in the show that there was a part A and a part B. And if you scored part A as a 0, they didn't let you put in part B as a number. And now we're hearing Brian's telling us that CrossFit said, hey, that's a problem. It wasn't meant to be that way. We're trying to fix it. Is that correct?
Yes. So I was under the impression that you could not log a score of 0 for part A, or that and a weight for part B, meaning that if you didn't at least do 1 rep of part A, that you couldn't do a score for part B. And there was some, it seemed like the system, whatever, was preventing people from doing that. I had heard at some point that there was a 0 as a placeholder for part A. And so if you didn't replace the placeholder 0 by actually pressing 0 on your phone or keyboard, that it wouldn't register a score, and that without a score, you couldn't enter the weight. I don't know if it was one and then the other, or if it was just the whole time that if you didn't replace the 0 that was already there with a 0,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
I'm not sure
yes.
if it was one or the other or both at some point.
Hey, what would be interesting is to see how many people, what I would do? I would put in a 1. And then I would put in my second score, and then I would either contact them or not and tell them, hey, just so you know, I got a 0, but I put in a 1.
And there were people that did that.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like, so you don't get screwed, right?
Sure. And there were, right. But okay. Yes. So here's, yes. However, then I'll be curious what you would do. So now you start getting some of these emails from people.
I would panic though too. Also, by the way, trust me, I would panic.
You're Dave or Eubanks or Adrian Bosman or whoever gets these emails at the support staff.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, you see that? We just got 5 emails in the last 2 hours from people who are logging 1, even though they got 0.
Yeah.
What should we do?
Call IT. Oh no, that guy quit. Tell Justin. Tell Adrian.
Fine. Okay. Well, but if you're Justin or Adrian, if you're the decision maker, what are you going to do?
Hey, call someone on IT, some company outsourced.
No, you notify the athletes.
Oh, tell me. Yes.
Hey.
That's why I don't have that job.
Hey, athletes.
Oh, right away. Hey, we gotta. Okay, you make a public announcement. Let everyone know. Stop stressing out. Don't worry, we're on it.
Yes. You already emailed all of them to invite them. Just email them again.
Okay.
Hey, we know there's been some of you who are having issues with the 0 as a score for part 2A. you know, and then whatever you want to say.
We know
from
you
there,
paid.
just
How much
say it.
money did they pay to enter this?
$50.
Oh, we know you paid $50 and you want to put in a score.
But again, what if you just took that workout and you just made it 12.96, going the other way? So you start with the box jumps and GHDs, so you know everyone's going to get a score, and there's no chance of this being a problem. I mean, it's very simple. Make it simple. Don't make it complicated.
Let me just play devil's advocate here. That doesn't alter the workout in any single way that ruins the workout.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. By ruin it, I mean accidentally you get the wrong person in. No.
Everyone who got a 0 is just going to get a 6, an 18, or a 7, or what is it? A 21. 20.
Okay. Denise in the comments is saying it's fixed.
Okay, so eventually, within 2 hours of the submission deadline, I started getting some messages from people saying that CrossFit was addressing this problem. But their correspondence were not the same to everyone. And in one of the correspondence, they said, since you reached out and contacted us before the deadline, we will enter your score for you.
Oh.
Did you take the screenshot of that I posted?
Oh. Did I?
Yeah.
No. Oh, probably. Maybe.
Yeah. Yesterday you said yes.
Yeah. Okay, I did. Do you want to see it?
I don't know. We just to get the language right. But the point is, whereas to me, and this is maybe it's just me, if I'm getting information from from multiple athletes and if I'm getting the information, then I'm sure CrossFit's getting more information than me, contacting them saying that I'm having this problem, then I would think, oh, well, this is a problem. And if these 5 people are contacting me, I'm sure that there's 50 others that are going to, or are thinking about it, or having the same problem. Why don't we just communicate with all of them what's going on, what our plan is to fix it, and what they should do if they find themselves in this situation.
I wonder, Caleb, when I send you text, is it hard? Is it a shitload of work getting it up on the screen?
No.
Thank you for your patience regarding your age group quarterfinal test 2A and 2B scores. You can now submit a score of 0. If you did not complete any reps during test 2A, you will need to enter a 0 for 2A and then enter your weight in pounds for 2B. Do not leave the field blank. Please enter the actual number 0. Since you contacted us before the submission deadline, we can help you enter your score if needed. But that wasn't for everyone.
Well, so here's the thing. What are consistently telling us? We have a small team.
Right.
If I have a small team and I see that I'm starting to get the same email from multiple people, instead of having someone on my small team respond to every single one of those emails individually, and in some cases with different verbiage than this, meaning that there's multiple different responses going out to people having the same problem, I'm just going to say, whoa. Let's write one email and cut it off at the head, because we don't have the manpower to be responding to all these emails individually. And they're all asking the same question.
Jeffrey Birchfield, I feel every workout should start with a movement anyone can do. That way, there's always a score. Hey, even if what Jeff is saying isn't true, there should be a checklist where they go through and be like, hey, do we want to set this problem? Now that they know, there should be this fucking list of things. Are the kilograms to pounds accurate? Is it consistent with all the other workouts? What have we done in the past with people holding up signs? Is this really a time we want to introduce something new? Why are we telling people to wrap their thumb or not wrap their thumb and adding something? What is that? How does that really affect the test of fitness?
And if we decide that it does, what's the penalty for the people who don't do it?
And if it's really just a safety issue, just write on there, we advise that you wrap your thumb for safety issues. We do not condone an unwrapped or some shit. Yeah, there could easily be a checklist of shit that someone who gets paid $300 a week, 300 pesos a week. Did I say $300? 300 pesos a week can do.
Well, but here's the thing, because Adrian will say this.
Whoa, what's this? Even Craig Howard, who's a stud, got a 0 score on one of the tests. Did he get a 0 on the handstand push-up test?
Yeah, I think he said it was like the first time in the history of him doing online competitions for CrossFit that, he's had to take a 0.
Why? Is he injured?
He couldn't do the handstand push-up, I think. Not
Yeah,
sure why. Same as Lynn
he
Matman, not
must
sure
be
why.
injured. Jan Clark, HQ needs to tuck its tail and bring Dave back in full capacity. He was prior to firing. Well, that would be the thing is, it's like, how many movements are you going to do? Adrian's competent. He just needs to be set up for success.
No. What Adrian regular says is, this is not just him. There's a team of people around him. And what my question is, what qualifies those people to be on that team? Because someone's not asking the right questions. And the more people that are on that team that are not asking these questions, the more people that are in positions that probably they shouldn't be in terms of advising for the administration of the game season. And I think that, and you might know better than me, that a lot of the people that are rising up through the ranks there used to thrive in different roles. And as they've stayed there longer, have elevated into maybe more, senior or authoritative roles where they're maybe not as qualified for that job as they won the one previous. This happens in a lot of professions. Teachers becoming administrators, and you lose your best teachers, and they're not even the best administrators. They're just doing it to make $20,000 extra a year.
Oh, well said. Yanni, looking like Halle Berry. Look at it. How do you have a crazy first name and your last name is Smith? Yanni, Sevan Smith. Hi.
I got married to someone.
Oh, right. Just some white dude. Caleb Smith. CF is not going to change anything until athletes speak out. Rule followers, plus they are trying to get paid. In all, Yanni, I really like you. Jansa. Fuck the athletes. Don't speak out. You're the fucking idiots that got Dave fired in the first place. You dipshits. I don't want to hear a fucking word out of you. Shut up and lift, you morons. Okay, so where were we? We don't want your help. Don't worry. Brian's got this. The fucking hear from the athletes. Subhuman. Jan Clark, TD CEO. I agree. I married a white dude. That should be that's a great sitcom. I married a white. Do they have that as a sitcom? I married a white dude. So at least be a t-shirt or an acronym. IMTWD. You have to put the A in there.
No.
IMWD instead of hard work pays off. I married a white dude. It's a bunch of just rich wives. It's a show on TV. Oh. No, we're the finger pointers. A bunch of finger pointers at you. No, that's what we do.
I got my Wednesday night lineup now. MILF Manor and how I married a white dude.
How I married a white dude. I don't know what she is, but she's looking like Halle Berry. All right. Here we go. Maybe it is Halle Berry. Okay. The only two athletes we've really given any love to are Sam Dancer. God, he got a lot of love. And Rich Froning and Al Chama got a little love. Can I go through some people and we talk about them?
Let's go one for one. You go, then I go.
For athletes.
Yeah.
Okay. How's my boy Jason Grubb doing? By the way, if you go to YouTube and you type in age group online qualifier, this guy owns that scene. He produces more content in that in the last 5 years than anyone. So kudos to him for all that.
Now, like I said, I think that these tests are fairly well balanced. You're going to get someone who's got, good capacity for gymnastics, has the upper body pulling, has the upper body pressing, is strong, and can suffer. So when we look at some of these athletes, you're going to see. I think that this is a good indication of who the front runners are in most of the divisions for the games as well. So Jason Grubb's in the men's 45 to 49, and he crushed it. He had 44 total points, a first, a second, a seventh, a 14th, and a 20th, and he has almost just over half as many points as the second place guy.
So what about, there was some Russian guy he was tripping on.
He tapered off. Wait, he was what? Cheating on?
Who? Well, I don't see any cheating.
There's a Russian guy in seventh, but he wasn't threatening to Jason really.
I just remember Jason had to compete against some dude they're at the Wheel Wads or wherever these guys go. Don't these guys have like an event last month or 2 months ago?
Wadapalooza, maybe?
No, something else.
Masters Fitness Collective?
Maybe it's that.
Masters Legends Championship?
And there was a Russian guy there who Jason was tripping on a little bit.
Well,
So this guy's, so how old is he? 47. Is this going to be a big deal if he wins the game at 47?
Look, the guy in second place is legitimately good, David Johnston, and he's just aged into this division. And Mike Kern, who's the same age as him, is really good. Like those are three guys that I know are good in this division. But I think that Jason is the favorite. There's the guy that's in 11th place. He might have even won this division a couple years ago, but he's 49 now, Justin LaSala. So he'll probably be the favorite to win the 50 division next year. But if he sneaks in at 49 years old, there's always a couple of guys or girls that are able to do this, sneak in the last year of their age division. And I find that like just as impressive as the people winning their division. If you can get in the last year eligibility, that on its own is incredible.
Okay. Jason Grubb. We like him. Good money on Jason. Good dude. Okay. Your turn.
Okay. We'll just flip over to women's 45 to 49.
Okay.
And I was shocked when I looked at this leaderboard because I know who the fittest person in this division is. And I was like, wait, where is she? And I saw a couple Brazilian girls in first and second that I've never heard of. A couple, someone from Finland, a woman from South Africa. And then the woman that is the fittest in this division, just aging into it this year, is in 7th place, Kelly Friel. And you look at her performances here.
How come I don't know any of these women? I was around back in the day.
Kelly's been competing for a long time, but never in the elite division, the individual division, always in the masters divisions.
Okay. But where's the I guess I mean I was gonna say I guess Annie started in 2009 and she's still going individual. I guess the girls who were started the sport.
But 10 years ago when she was 35, Kelly Friel, like there wasn't a 35 to 39 division.
Okay, fair enough.
She had to wait till she was 40.
Okay.
So she's only had, this is her 5th or 6th year, and she has a good resume. But look at her performances in this quarterfinal: 2nd place, 1st place, 2nd place, 1st place, 149th place.
Okay, so okay, I see what you're
doing. The
doing.
last 4 years at the games, first, 2nd. And once again, you have this movement, this wall-facing strict handstand push-up movement that you're implementing as the first movement in a workout for all age divisions. Well, not all age divisions, but the majority of the age of it, 35 to 54, and then the teenage divisions.
Hey, what if it was fewer reps? What's the rep scheme on
It's
it?
just a really, really specific thing to be testing, basically in isolation for a large percentage of wide range of athletes, of age of athletes and skill of athletes.
Grubb is on the juice. No, he's not. Okay. Took care of that. Thank you. Thank you, Barry.
So I'm not too, that's like in the case of Kelly here, I'm not worried at all. That's literally one thing. And probably now that she knows it's on the table, you give her 5 months to work on it, she's going to be a lot better at it, is my guess. And then otherwise she's 1st and 2nd on every workout.
Okay. So she's going to win the games. That's your girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just an example that Lynn Natman had she didn't do as well on all the other workouts, but she did just as bad on this one, relatively, and it knocked her out of contention
Mason Mitchell, Sevan tested him. Okay. What about this jokey lady? What's she doing this year? The jokey joker lady, the 70-year-old lady who climbed the rope a couple years ago. What's her deal?
70 years old. Is she on the leaderboard somewhere?
I have no idea, but someone in the comments, you know who I'm talking about? The jokester, the yokester. She's got a crazy name. And she climbed the rope a couple of years ago or last year, and everyone's like, holy shit. I want to say she went to the games. Is she doing do you see her in the old ladies division? Mr. Beaver?
I don't see her name, but I'm trying to find her right now.
What's the oldest you go?
65 plus.
Okay.
I'm looking through these leaders.
That sucks if I picked a name and we don't get to talk about it and it's your turn again. That's really going to piss me off.
Well, you don't even know her name.
That's why you're here. I look at Jeffrey Birchfield remembers her. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. God. 69. Barry McCockner says she's 69. Oh, yeah, this is her name. Yes. Dickoff. That's her name. Thank you, Jamie. Joke Dickoff. That's her name. JOKEDIKHOFF. What are you laughing at, Brian? That's really her name. Joke Dickoff. What if it was choke? What if it was choke? Just gonna pronounce it wrong. Bruce Wayne, Jamie, that's a great pick. Jamie, probably one of the few pictures where she's not working out. No sign of her anywhere. Okay.
No.
I relinquish the floor, but an amazing athlete.
All right, women's 60 to 64 division.
Okay, let's go.
Entering back into the Masters realm as she does every other year since 2015, undefeated in her CrossFit Games career, 5 championships, going for 6.
Wow.
Susan Clark, 19 points, 3 times better points-wise than the next closest in her division. Just like
So let's be honest here. Does anyone check her birth certificate?
dude, she's 64. She's in the last age of the eligibility, and she's crushing everyone. The older
I thought there's a 65 and older. What if
this is the last year of eligibility in the 60 to 64?
What if she's really 49?
CrossFit Training, I think, or CrossFit Games, someone put up actually a video of her today on their Instagram. I mean, she is the best Masters athlete of all time. She's never lost.
God, and she's little, dude.
She won it in 14, 15, 17, 19, 21, and she's coming back in 23. And since 15, she takes every other year off. I fucking love that about her. How many times have you heard me talk about the fact that that can work for some people, especially as they get older?
I don't trust anyone who doesn't have a profile pic. Laura Fonseca. She's not 49. She's a beast. How is she only 123 pounds? She's a feather.
Remember,
yeah, she's bigger than me.
Remember, this is why we don't put any. This is why we don't put any too much emphasis on the weights on the games profile, because she could have entered that when the day that she made her games profile, and unless she changes it, it never changes.
Hey, dude, if that is true, she's probably one of the lightest ever champions, even in the teenage division. I mean, that is especially for how tall she is. That's tall for 5'5", 123. It's crazy. Oh, has anyone interviewed her? Is there a podcast on her? Do I need her?
I've written about her. Patrick Clark's written about her. I don't know about interviews. I'm hopeful. I hope there's something out there. She's great.
And she's from Canada.
Doesn't look like it.
All right. Susan Clark. Is she on Instagram?
Not sure.
That's not how Patrick Clark spells his last name either, is it?
No.
Okay. Susan Clark. Okay, my turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Susan Clark. What's her? Oh, I recognize
That's
her.
from 2021.
Yeah, there's no way that's 123 pounds. She's a brick shithouse. What's her? Let me see her Instagram. Go up to the top. Look, Ariel Lowen follows her.
She doesn't have one. This
Oh
is on
my
the CrossFit
goodness.
page.
How am I
Yeah,
going to
but
get
they
in touch
just put
with
a
her?
video up of her like today.
I recognize her. She must have been at the games when I was there.
14, 15, 17, 19, 21.
Yeah. Look at Laura says she's humble as fuck. Laura, private Instagram. Okay. Laura, will you? My Instagram is Sevan Rinsta. Will you?
That's her.
Oh yeah, that's savage. Will you? Could you DM me her Instagram? Patrick Clark. She alternates. Yep, just like Brian said. Okay. Okay, I'll mention it to her. Thank you. I'll be very nice. I won't swear. I'll be on my best behavior. It'll be cool. I won't mention anything about the vaccine or nothing, or her being from Canada.
Dude, I can't wait for this next one. But you're up. Your turn.
Or Trudeau or anyone. Kyle Kasperbauer.
Is he competing?
I don't know. Please, I can't be 0-2 in that. I can't.
I actually looked at the leaderboard before I made these picks. No, he's not competing.
I didn't.
Wait, maybe he's in a different division this year.
I get one more if I get another one.
No, I don't see him.
Camille LeBlanc Bazinet.
Nope.
All right, fine. Okay, your turn. I wonder why Kyle isn't competing. You're doing every other year?
Caleb, we got to go to men's 45 to 49 to the leaderboard. This is Jason Grubb's division. And scroll down to number 21. And I want to see what Sevan thinks about this guy.
Oh, is this Ken Jones?
No. We're getting to him.
Kevin Jones. Sorry, Kevin Jones. Breck Berry. Do I know him?
Do you know him?
He looks very familiar.
Breck Berry, 4-time CrossFit Games athlete. 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. In 2007, 5th place overall behind James Fitzgerald, Brett Marshall, Josh Everett, and Chris Spieler, 1 spot ahead of Jeremy Teal.
Crazy.
And I was scrolling through the leaderboard earlier, and I'm like, I know that name. And I looked him up. And if you go to his profile, he hasn't done anything. He does the open, but beyond that, the last time he was at the games was actually on a team in 2012.
I have a theory, but I probably shouldn't say it out loud. It's a little
Masters
harsh.
in 2016 once, and then nothing else. And here he is popping back up.
Good on him. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, 21. That doesn't. But he's not going right. Only
Oh,
10.
he'll make it to the next 30.
Okay.
But I just thought it was cool. And if you go 2 spots below him, another former Games athlete.
I don't recognize him. Oh yeah, I recognize that dude. Wow.
2-time Games athlete from Africa.
Wow. Yeah, that was a big dude.
So it's kind of cool when some of these guys from way back when, and I mean, Breck Berry's at the first 4 CrossFit Games.
Yeah, that's
Here he
nuts.
is popping up on a leaderboard in 2023.
He's American. What was his flag?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think I'm winning this game, by the way.
Yeah, you're killing me. If it was a competition, you're killing me. So that guy did 3 years at Aromas.
Mm-hmm. All 3 years. Hey, you know something I'm going to do?
What?
I'll tell you later. It's going to be cool.
Maybe I should have him on too, Breck Berry.
That would be wild. Like just to talk to,
Breck Berry and
think there's
Susan
any
Clark.
interviews with Breck Berry out there ever?
I don't know,
And if there are, they're probably by you from 2008.
but I'm a master of my craft, and I promise you it will be good.
It'd be amazing. Like, I think it would be so cool to catch up with some of those guys now and say, like, you showed up in 2007 to the CrossFit Games. Like, why?
Yeah. Did you sleep there?
What were you doing the previous year, 2 years, 3 years that landed you there?
Did Dave enter the Open this year? Dave Castro?
I don't know. I never checked.
Becca Voigt. Becca Voigt.
You got one. She is competing, but she was out of the top 10, I think. Yeah, she's in 11th place in the Masters 40 to 44. And by the way, they are making changes on the leaderboard because earlier today when I checked, Jen Ryan was winning this division. Now Andrea Pinheiro is winning this division. So there is a live scoring changes happening for the Masters review process.
Do I know who Jen Ryan is? That name?
Yeah, Invictus. She's been around for a long time, sometimes competing on a team with him, sometimes in the Masters divisions.
Is Becca a concern when she takes 11th or no?
Well, in general, no, but also you just kind of look at the performances. So 8th place in the first workout, very CrossFit-y, that's solid. 31st in the second one, so she's, I would say, relative to her overall skill set, maybe a little below average on the strict handstand push-ups, still not a bad score. Oh, that's so cool, actually. That is awesome. Oh, there's a girl from my gym who got the exact same, in the same division, they had the exact same number of reps as her on this workout. Cool. And
can we scroll over? I want to see what her worst finish is. Sorry.
It's the lift. It's the lift.
And what?
95th. She's 8th and 12th on the other workouts.
Oh, so she did great.
Yeah. So on the fitness stuff, really good. The strength, she takes a hit. And the bigger the field, the bigger that hit's going to be. So when this fields get smaller and the competition gets longer, that a deficiency on a strength test like that will be mitigated relative to everything else that she's excellent at.
Okay. I only have one more person. Go ahead. Your turn.
Now I want to show that guy from this division that did the lift.
Oh, Kevin Jones.
Yeah. So we had already featured the 35 to 39-year-olds that had some impressive lifts and a lot of them, but this guy who's in the next age division up with the heaviest lift of anyone, 384 pounds.
Before you play that, Karina, Sevan would know about Clever. I saw Kristen Clever about a year ago at the ranch. I got to hang with her a bit. And I don't know if it was her wife or a girlfriend, but it was a really good time. It was actually it was a really good time. I really enjoyed hanging out with her. And actually, just a couple of days ago, my wife said, "Hey, you should get Kristen Clever on the podcast." So I don't know what the question was, but I don't think she still competes anymore. But she's cool as shit, and her body looked insane. I saw her at the ranch. It was at a street parking event at the ranch, and she looked like she was as fit as ever. Okay, here we go. Who's this guy? What's this guy?
Semifinals at the Granite Games last year.
And did she look amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's shredded. She's taller than I remember. Probably not to you, Brian.
You're shrinking.
I know that's probably true. Okay. What's the deal here? Who's this guy? What did he just finished a workout? Now he has to do another workout.
No, this is the clean at the end of the 2A and 2B, and this is the heaviest anyone lifted this past weekend. This is a 40-year-old guy.
In the world.
Well, of all the masters who participated, there was a guy in the 35-39 who did 1 pound less, or maybe he just counted his barbell differently than him, and that was the difference.
He just converted wrong. Wow, this is incredible. Okay, do we get to see it?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy looks huge. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So Kevin,
Let's
Jones.
watch again. I want to watch people's reaction around it. Man, he doesn't dilly-dally. Wow. And did he break any rules? Is his thumb wrapped? Is he using straps? Is allowed to use lifters?
I think that one would count for everyone except for Maddie Rogers.
Did he open his hip?
Sad.
Why? I don't get it.
She got white lights on a clean and jerk, and then they changed it to red lights, and she didn't medal in her 10th straight Pan American championship.
Wow.
It really fucked her up.
And did she was her lift good?
It looked pretty good.
It was for a second.
Yeah.
Wow.
Next second, it wasn't. It's,
she competes at Rogue Invitational still. Oh yeah, clever. Good point. Yeah, she does. That's right. And in the Legends. Okay. Okay. Sam Briggs?
I don't think so.
No. All right.
Wait,
Can I ask you?
we're done with that game?
No. Well, I was going to move on to teams here a little bit.
Wait.
Okay. Go
Sam
ahead.
Briggs did compete.
She did.
Yeah, women's 40 to 44. She's in 25th place. Again, just like this is happening a lot. 10th, 24th, 6th, 5th, 260th.
Oh, and that's the handstand. That's the handstand push-up.
No, that's the lift.
The lift. Oh, okay.
So
Hey, but that's a fair lift, right?
yeah.
Right? Do you have any
Yeah.
issue with this?
No, I mean this could and again, this could be the argument towards having a third qualifier,
Right.
So you
Okay. Right.
so that something like this doesn't happen as often.
That's a great Karina Rain. Great question. Sean Ramirez. Is Sam making a run? Did I ask her that? I don't even know if I asked her that when she was on the show last week, or 2 weeks ago, or 5 weeks ago, whenever that was.
Sean didn't do he registered but didn't log a score for any workouts.
Okay, so something happened to him because we had him on the show and this was his comeback year.
Yes, but he's also 49. So he's in the last year of eligibility for his division, and it's a pretty competitive division, quite frankly. There's a lot of good guys there. We already talked about some of them. I think that whether he intended to or not, or whether he needed his body or whatever, based on seeing him at Masters Fitness Collective and talking to him a little bit there, that taking this season not too seriously and setting himself up for his 50-year-old season to be it will be a much more likely successful comeback year.
Jordan Buhat with the professional photo as his profile pic. Maddie got the signal that she could put it down. That's why she didn't stop moving. Okay. So I'm guessing she was locked out and she dropped it, but then there was some other rule that conflicted with it that you have to hold it still and stop moving. So the judge kind of fucked her. And then they said, but it's responsibilities on the athlete. They did some shit like that.
More or less. And it's like the ideal situation would be that the order of operations is correct. So the order of operations would be, PC, would be that she does the lift to the standard, then you get the lights, then you drop the bar. Here, she's got the lights.
Are you allowed to do a 360 like that?
Well, in the end.
As long
no.
as you're on the platform, yeah.
So she thought she.
Did you see the lights turn red right there?
No, I didn't even. I can't even see the lights. Where are they?
They blink white and they'll project a light, but when they turn to red, you'll really see it. Keep watching until she goes on. Watch her on the ground right here. See that?
Oh. So she. Oh shit. Oh, so she thinks for a minute she did it.
Yeah. Because they gave her the down signal.
See, she explains there. Correction. The final reasoning was 2 judges pressed their calls, white lights, signaling the down signal. I dropped the bar, as a lifter does, and 1 judge then changed their white to red because I had, quote unquote, not stopped moving before the down signal was given and did not show control of the bar. And then, exactly like you assumed, I was told it was the athlete's job to show full control of the bar regardless of the down signal. Hold it beyond the down signal.
And that's kind of what we were guessing what happened, right? There's 2 different rules, but one of the rules has a hierarchy over the other rule.
Yeah, and I mean it's it's like you're running into the end zone. Like, make sure you run with the ball through the goal line. Don't make it close. Or whatever.
No lift period, says Tank Reeves. She never controlled it. Sorry, not sorry. She kept moving though. That's on the judges. It's not CrossFit. Fuck.
Like neither of them are wrong.
Right.
Like, it was the judge's fault and it was her fault. And
do we want to look at? Are there any kiddos that are worth talking about? Any teens that you want to be like?
yes, they're next on my list.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
I think we should just there's always new people in the 14 and 15 division. I'd rather look at them more closely after the next round when there's only 10 remaining. But for the boys 16, 17 and girls 16, 17, start with the boys. I think this is going to, because in the boys division, none of these guys have any chance of competing with the individual elite men. There's too big of a gap. But there are 3 guys within 3 points on this leaderboard. And if you are a fan of the teenage divisions, and if you're a fan of close competitions and dramatic competitions, these 3 guys, Caden Hogan, RJ Mestra, and Ty Jenkins, are going to be putting on a show this year. You can just look and see their performances across the board: 2-1, 12-3-4, 7-2-4, 4-6, 4-14, 1-5-1. There's hardly anything bad there. A 14th and a 12th out of 15 performances. And they have about 200 people competing in this division. So these 3 guys are going to be really, really close the entire year. And this is just a little preview of what's to come in terms of what I will think will be one of the most competitive age group battles at the games this summer.
All of these people that we're talking about now, we won't see their semifinals. They're not televised. This is all more online shit. They stay online. They're just screwed, right? We're screwed. They're screwed. These are just online. It's online, right? Quarterfinals, semifinals. How about for the teams? Are their semifinals also online?
No, teams will be in person at the same semifinals as the individuals.
What a shame. What a shame. I guess at least if they were going to do if they were only going to have 10 masters, they could at least let them come to semifinals and let them showcase some of their shit there, the 35 to 39. Nice to see them.
It's tough because they're all spread out all over the world, but I think that
and the cost and getting them there. Okay.
Yeah, but I think I think that is another argument in favor of having a bigger pool of athletes at the more dense competitive fields, because you're less likely to miss out on someone that might actually be incredibly entertaining, talented, fit to watch at the games.
No more talk about Maddie after this. The judges have 3 seconds to change a white to a red if they see something wrong after a white light. For example, if the lifter slams the bar down from overhead, they can get red lit after white lights. That's like the cop can change his mind if you're nice to him when he comes up to the window. Okay. Okay, and so the ladies 16 to 17?
Yes. I'm just gonna let you look at the top 3, and
I'm curious.
I'm assuming you haven't looked at these yet.
No, I haven't, but I'm curious if Miss Kerstetter even did them. Oh, there she is. Wow. Oh, and I've heard you mention Lucy. And I've heard you mention all three of these. I've heard you mention Lucy, Trista, and Olivia Kerstetter. Wow.
And all three will be in the next iteration of the top 100 power rankings that are coming out, because all three are eligible to compete not only in their obviously in their age group semifinal, but in the elite individual semifinal as well. And I think that they will, because they can do both.
Let me see the strength numbers here. Just clean. 225, 215, 225, 217, and 257. Man, this is a whole nother batch of savages coming up. This is crazy. Look at fourth place at 223. This is nuts.
Yeah.
Kerstetter, 257. Jacob Hepner messing with his bad back in the background. Oh my God. Wow, that looked easy.
6
Wow,
pounds
that
more.
looked easy. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Hey, what about, let me ask this. What about her going team? Pro team, just skipping individual and going team. Do you think she thinks about that? Someone's had to have talked to her about that, right? To get some pro experience instead of messing with the little girls. Can you do that? Can you go team?
Well, she would have had to been on a team's roster, which she is not.
Okay, but she could have maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, these other numbers are crazy. The fact that these other two girls are doing so well is nuts.
So we don't know what will happen with these three. I think that
I can't believe how hard that clean is, and yet she moves so fast. Better, Justin? From CrossFit Stinky Hive, Sweet Hive, Salty Hive.
I think what's most likely is that each of them will go to their semifinal, not qualify as an individual, go to the games, and we'll have a competitive battle, but that in the game setting, I think Olivia will still beat these two.
Those girls' confidence is skyrocketing.
I mean, just, definitely don't, just because I say that doesn't mean that they can't do it. They will. I mean, these three are very, very fit, very competitive. And I do hope that they go to the semifinal. We saw Haley Adams do that when she was 16, 17 years old, and get a little bit of competition experience there that I think was helpful for her making that transition out into the elite division, and can be for these girls as well.
Patrick's saying she's only 15, but she will be 16 at the games. Is that the deal?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Okay. Once again, the information on the game site is wrong. What is going on?
I think it
with,
shows the age that they'll be at the games.
Well, yes. But I'd really like to see the age that they are now. Mayhem. Any good teams this year?
Oh yeah, all over the world actually.
But I don't mean ones that are doing the programming. Is Mayhem going to have it set the record again? The people who do their programming, they're going to have the biggest showing at the games.
Yes.
But do they have? Do they have any teams who are training at the Empire at the Castle that have a chance?
Well, this one, CrossFit Mayhem Independence. This is Angelo's team.
Okay.
And
that's a good sign that they beat that Oslo Navy Blue team, right?
Well, like I said, the teams are like the very competitive teams in the world are all filtering towards the top of the leaderboard here. Let me see. I think every single team in the top 16 was on my radar prior to the season starting as a team to keep an eye on. And the other teams after that, once I saw them pop up here, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there. But if you're talking about that can win the games, I think there's only 3 teams that can win the games, maybe 4.
It's interesting. Oh, okay. I was just checking to see if it's unconquerable. Invictus Unconquerable. It's funny. You can look up Inconquerable It's interesting. Okay. They don't tell you if one's right or wrong. Yeah. What are we talking? This is a game show we're doing. Hi, Brian.
What's up?
At a senior moment, we got lost into the matrix. Okay. So they're not going to be on the podium this year, is what you're saying?
Who's that?
Mayhem.
I don't think so. But Angela's team finished 5th last place at last year at the games. I think his team is very similar this year in terms of experience, talent, whatever. And I think that very likely that they'll finish 4th through 8th at the games.
No, I did not just have a stroke, but I appreciate you. If anyone ever sees me have a stroke on here, please text my wife immediately. What about that team that Nisler and Taylor are on?
Well, that's the Nashville or East Nashville proven team that's at the top of the leaderboard.
That really bums me out that they're over there on that team. That really bums me out.
Why?
Because I want them to stay at Mayhem. I'm a traditionalist.
Well, they weren't. They were somewhere else before Mayhem. Why don't you want them to stay with OC3?
I just wanted that to be their last stop.
Okay, well, that's different. But Taylor Williamson's partner, Nick Johnston, is an integral part of Proven's coaching team, and that's like where she lives and trains. They changed the rules for teams this year, and so it made it a lot easier on Andrea. She can stay home most of the year and be where she likes to be with all the people she likes to be around, and come and train with her longtime teammate for the parts of the season that they need to. Tola moving. What?
Who are the dudes on Angelo's team?
Tola Moraquino, who had
on Angelo's team.
Oh, on Angelo's team. Him and Sam DeMeester.
Are they better than Tola and who's the other guy?
Tim Paulson.
Are they better than Tola and Tim Paulson? No.
Collectively, no. Angelo is such a strange athlete. Like in training or whatever, he's great. He's good, but you put him in he's the guy that shows up when it matters. So I would take him as a number 2 on any team in the world and say that they have a chance. But if he's the number 1 guy, then the other guy needs to be knocking on the door
Rich
as good as him. No, then he would be 2 to Rich Froning.
Okay. I see.
Like if you're making a team and the guys and you're going to say they're a Batman and Robin, if Angelo is your Robin, you're in contention to win the games.
Okay.
If he's your Batman, then I don't know.
Then you need 2 Batman.
Now, if you put him and someone like Sam with Andrea and Taylor, that are arguably the 2 best women to ever do it, instead of Kyra Milligan and Zoe Jones, who they're very good, but they're not Andrea Nisler and Taylor Williamson. Now you might maybe have a chance with Angelo being your strongest male.
Michael C., to answer your question, any insight in why Nisler and the other girl, Taylor, did not join Angelo? I think Brian was saying that basically one of their husbands, I think Taylor's husband, works over at Proven and is a coach. It seems like a no-brainer for him to cruise over there, right?
I think he's in a more senior position than that now, maybe even like an executive role.
Oh, yes, I remember those positions. Okay, and did we talk about Huday's team?
They were sitting there, 4th place overall in the world, 1st place in Europe. Very good team. Andre Huday is obviously a multiple-year games athlete. The other athletes on this team you might not be as familiar with, but Ninka van Overveld and Julian Krag are they have a lot of team experience at the games on other teams. And then Julie Hugar is the fittest woman in Denmark traditionally, and very capable as well. In the team competition, I'll take talent over experience, unless they're, but if talent's on the same level, then give me the experience. So just by the nature of the talent of the athletes on this team, they're going to rise past most teams in the team division. But when you start to say, okay, now you have to put them against teams that are similarly talented, like the Invictus team, like the Proven team, like the Oslo team, but they have more experience competing as a team or in a team competition, then I'd take the competitive experience in the team environment over the talented but new to the team division.
Any bad news you've heard about the Invictus team? Anything that makes you concerned? Injuries, pregnancies,
like Alchama and Jorge?
Yeah, and Devin and Weiss.
No, I haven't heard nothing but good stuff.
All good. They could win it. They could stand first place.
Yeah, I actually think that that's what like people should. If I was telling the story of the team competition this year, I would say, obviously the reigning champs are gone, but the teams that were second and third at the podium the last 2 years, and the team that's been second place the last 2 years are both coming. They're both coming back full power with one objective, which is to get on top of the podium. And CrossFit Invictus and CrossFit Oslo both definitely have a chance to do that. But 2 of the 4 people that won the CrossFit team competition last year are still there. And that's the girls on the CrossFit Proven team. They've brought in 2 experienced veterans in the sport, one of them with team experience, one of them not so much, but Tim Paulson is one of the, I would say, is one of the more underrated, CrossFit competitors of the recent generation. 6 or 7 games qualifications is really, really hard to do. And he didn't start doing it until he was a little bit older. Like, he wasn't one of those guys that was qualifying when he was 21, 2, 3. Like, he had to work for it. And then when he got there, he loved it and he wanted to stay there. And despite getting married and despite having kids and despite owning a business, he's found a way to remain good. And I have really no doubts about him as being a great team member as well. He just seems like, he's a very, very experienced CrossFitter. And I think he's also cerebral enough to integrate into that team well. So I think they are just as likely to win as either Invictus or Oslo.
It is truly a crazy team, right? Now that if you start looking at it, you have those 2 girls that just go wherever they need to just go. And they're basically just hitmen. Wherever they go, they just kill shit, right? Nistler and Taylor. I mean, they're legends, straight, just fucking legends. Then you have Tim Paulson, who's just a straight, legitimate CrossFit Games individual athlete. Has he ever won an event at the CrossFit Games?
I don't think so, but we can verify.
But fuck shit up.
Yeah, no event wins at the CrossFit Games.
But maybe some second and thirds. He's ruined some people's days.
The thing is,
sure.
To make it 6 times to the CrossFit Games,
crazy.
And
that's what he's done. He has 6 individual appearances.
I think 6 in a row.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and he's coming out of the Northeast in some of those years. In 2017 and 18, we were there. Like, those in 2018, like, that's a stacked field, and he's finding his way through it. And then, 2019, 2020, he makes it online. 2021, he makes it back in a new format. Like, he's navigated all the changes of the season, all the different qualifying paths, all the competitive, being in one of the most competitive divisions, and he finds a way to get there. And he does, not amazing while he's there, but getting there 6 times in a row just instantly puts you into this category of someone that I would want on my team, because that's a person that doesn't have a weakness like we see with some of these Masters athletes that might just instantaneously keep them out one year.
And I think, not that Tola wasn't great enough to begin with, but he spends a year with Annie, a training season with Annie, and he's only that much better. Yeah, those dudes are savages.
I think there's more to it than that. I think that the expectations of that team were not met last year, and he moved his whole life to Iceland to win the CrossFit Games, and they didn't even make the podium. So I'm thinking he's coming into this season with a chip on his shoulder. And from what I'm hearing and thinking, I think that as an athlete, Tola is maturing this offseason into having maybe more discipline in his routines in his life, or attacking the things that have been holding him back from maybe reaching his max potential. And I think he's still young enough to do that. I think we're going to see the best version of Tola that we've ever seen this season.
Man, that's depressing that Annie's team didn't make a team. Is Annie? So Annie's going individual this year?
She is, and I think she's outside of Mal and Laura, I think she's the next most likely to podium at the Games this year.
Dang.
Well, that's the thing. All the people from that team, except for Khan, are still competing this year, just in different avenues. Lauren Fisher's looking pretty good so far back in the individual field. Katrin's competing again as an individual. She was alternate on that team, of course.
I knew we should have ended the show. I knew we should have ended the show before you said something.
No, it's just to say
he's tired, people. He's tired. 157 hour and 57 minutes of genius, and then he tells you Lauren Fisher's doing pretty good. Come on, buddy.
She's surprised me so far.
Okay.
And I'm curious.
She's not going to the games. She's not going to the games.
Well, it's not. It's anyone who thought they were going out west and were going to have an easy time making the games in the women's division is going to have news flash. It's not going to be easy. You're right.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to go to Pasadena. When is our what shows do we have coming up? What do we got? What do we got coming up? Aren't we due for a rankings update? Top 100 best CrossFitters of all time, or is it currently competing? Is that top 100 the currently competing?
I'll update the power rankings for this season. So they will only include athletes who are still remaining as eligible competitors for the individual season this year. There's over 40 athletes that I had to remove from the male and female list combined since January because they're either going team, they're injured, they retired, they got pregnant, they didn't compete, or they didn't qualify. So we moved all of those, bumped up a bunch of athletes who are going to be relevant. Some of them are going to be relevant competitors, possibly for fringe game spots, but more likely as people that might be in that position a couple of years down the road. So we'll get to learn some new names in the scene this year. And then I'm also going to do that for the teams worldwide, now that we actually have an idea of what the teams are.
When are we doing that?
Not this upcoming week, but maybe the week after.
Okay. There was a no, you guys can go. This show's over. Brian and I are just going to chat a little bit now. Thank you. I appreciate you. Great show. Thanks for coming. Caleb, thank you. Brian, great. Thank you. Brian, I noticed that there was a Frisbee competition this week. Why aren't we doing a Frisbee show tomorrow? You told me that I just saw, because I've been watching so much Frisbee, I saw Paul Macbeth is playing this weekend.
He's playing at the Throw Down the Mountain tournament in Florida at the course that he now owns. He actually bought it this past week as well.
Oh, and why aren't we covering that?
It's not a big tournament.
Is it a silver series?
No, it's an 8 tier.
Oh, wow. Good. Wow. Caleb, that was just showing off. That was just gratuitous showing off.
Wait, don't show this. I'm actually going to go watch this right now.
Now look at this. This camera works looks a little dark.
No. I don't want to see this.
No, because the points are showing down there.
I'm literally going to go watch this once we get off the air.
Okay.
I don't know what happened yet.
You don't think that maybe we should cover this tomorrow, even just like a little bit?
So first of all, it's not the same kind of speed of turnaround on the production. So it'll be like a day.
They have
slower.
the final rounds done. That was the final round.
No, it was not.
Disc golf. That's round. Oh no, you're right. That's round 2, front 9. Okay.
So the final round will come out sometime tomorrow, and I'll watch it probably tomorrow night.
Okay. So we might cover this.
And we might not.
Do you know a guy named Philo is?
Yes.
That.
Brathwaite?
Yeah, Philo Brathwaite, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still playing?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
He's the one black guy in disc golf that I've told you about.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he commentates for Disc Golf Network sometimes as well. And sometimes for some of the post-production companies. He
was in one of their videos 3 years ago. Hey, did you see the girl? There was some girl. There was a girl who she threw the Frisbee. It was controversial play this weekend at the mountain. She threw the Frisbee, and when she let go, she leaned on a tree.
I haven't seen this, no.
And it's not allowed to lean on the tree. And she called herself for the penalty. But a penalty can't go into place unless 2 people see it and no one else saw it. Someone has to second it. So she's telling the people that she's playing against, hey, you got to second this. And they're like, we didn't see it. They're like, what do you mean you're supposed to be watching me? They got this all on tape. And they're like, we were looking at your feet. We didn't look at your hand. And in the video, you can barely see she leans on the tree because the video's from the side. Fascinating. Frisbee golf people, fascinating.
What was the ruling?
The nuances. A judge came over and was like, I don't want to ruin it for you. But I didn't understand it. It could be good for the show. I didn't really understand.
This is in the women's division?
He got Caleb? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. James Krikava. Please stop, Sevan. Not until we go down to 0 viewers. I will not. Controversial disc golf play. I can't imagine that level of drama. Okay. Tomorrow we have a live call-in show, 7 a.m. I will be here. Caleb is still protesting until he hears back from HR. He's put in several complaints about me. So he's only working weekends now. All right. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
You make watching old people compete fun. Can you imagine if you weren't doing what you're doing? The void. Just want to say on behalf of all 518 people still watching, thank you. And everyone go over to Brian's DMs. No, not his DMs. He didn't want to go through his DMs. Don't close his DMs. Just go to his Instagram and tell him thank you. Not Caleb, though. Okay.